Good Sunday. Sit down. Tell me what hurts. You are in the podcast office of the highly credible sports wrestling and medical podcast show ever created, The Scripts. My name, of course, is Dr. C. That's Dr. Cubano. Don't stress it. Just depress it. My tag team partner in this show, the lovable, the likable, the honorable Dr. Dre. How are you, Dr. Dre?
Fucking awesome.
Tag team partner, there only couldn't be one. Dr. Dre is my tag team partner in this show. Dre, how's life? How's everything treating you, my friend?
Everything's good. My fucking back hurts.
Yeah, I want to make that a note in this in this podcast that he's doing this while injured.
Hey,
while injured, ladies and gentlemen.
When you want something, don't let nothing stop you.
We're very excited here because we've got this brand new show here, this script, and we want to kind of dice it up with you. We want to talk about a lot of different things. We want to talk about sports. We want to talk about wrestling, medically, anything you want to talk about. Dre, man, I think we've got a lot on our plate. We got a lot on our plate. I mean,
we got some.
This world's just getting crazier, man. This world is getting nuts. And it starts with everything sports related.
Yeah. The best thing about today's show is probably gonna be, a very controversial topic.
I like controversial.
I'm just gonna say, for me, everybody knows that, we were created to be a sports podcast, but today we're gonna introduce, a more political side of us, and we're gonna discuss a very hot topic, which, hey, we might as well, get into the show. We got a few interesting topics. I'm gonna actually give you the rundown. We're gonna discuss some NBA free agency. We're gonna discuss the NFL offseason. We'll probably throw in some fantasy talk because we're actually going to start, our fantasy league up,
Very important to note that. A lot of fantasy fans out there. A big year coming up. A lot of acquisitions to get a hold of. But before we even get started with that, I want to throw it over to our brand new third party.
No. That's my introduction.
I know, but I thought that's what you were doing.
I got a script, but I just went off script, so I'm going to just tell them what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
You feel me? Everything we're going to talk about. But before we get into that, I'm going to introduce Jasmine.
Okay.
You feel me?
Okay.
So, all right.
Go ahead.
That's cool.
No,
I can find a way to cut that.
Absolutely.
Part. But, shit, where was I? I forgot where I was at.
Right there.
Oh, all right, so.
Getting back into talking, you've got the NFL season. We also have fantasy football. What else do we have, Dre?
We're gonna discuss the World Cup. I got a topic here for sports awards, and I'll explain when we get to that topic of what I want to do with that because we never really talked about that before the show.
So many scripts, so many topics.
And last but not least, or if anything else come up, but specifically last but not least, we're going to discuss the Cannabis Fest coming up in October, and Dr. C will give you more information on that.
Absolutely.
But before we get into any of that, let's introduce our third-party specialist, Swish MD.
All net.
Herself.
Hello. I appreciate being on the show. Like they said, my name is Swish MD.
All net.
I'm here to just throw a little woman's perspective on the situation. You see how some men can be, just disrespectful and interruptive.
Absolutely.
I mean, we got Dr. C. Anyway, we're going to get back on the, more, political topics. I'm going to turn it back over to Molly Greenbud.
Okay. All right, first thing, breaking news. Breaking news.
I'm excited. Breaking news.
Chris Paul is gonna be a Rocket for the next 4 years. He agreed to a max deal to stay with the Rockets today. How you feel about that?
Honestly, I'm concerned, and I'll give you a reason because one, there's the dynamic about Chris Paul that he cannot finish a season without being injured. That given, there's a lot of bangs. Everybody gets hurt in the NBA. Second reason, limited exposure in the playoffs. This was honestly his first year ever making it to a Western Conference Finals, and he couldn't even finish that. As a max player for the Rockets, I would look for him to say, hey, whatever you're doing in the offseason, something's got to change. We need you to be in that 6th and 7th game in the Western Conference Finals. We needed that 4th win to overtake the Golden State Warriors. Now, granted, everybody gets hurt at weird times. Chris Paul has made it a career as far as getting hurt during the playoffs, getting hurt when his team needed him. And I'm sorry, I don't blame James Harden in that scenario. James Harden, at that point, had played his heart off, played his butt off, and for Chris Paul to not be available for that 6th and 7th game hurt. I like the contract. I like the deal. He gives the 1-2 punch for James Harden and the Rockets. My biggest concern from it is his longevity. Will he make the 4 years? Will he be that guy that breaks his overall libido, or as far as can he make a finals? Can he make a finals?
Hold on, Dr. C. Hey, Swish MD.
All net.
You want to light that B?
I was thinking about it.
Can't have a show. Can't have a show without the prescription.
Yes.
I mean,
no need to rush. I'll get right into it. I can light it. The light is right here.
I mean, if you want me to get a candy striper in and give you an assist, I mean, by all means. I mean,
I don't need any
All
assistance.
right, now that the tree's lit. Sorry for cutting you off, Dr. C.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But let me go ahead and say this. For a long time, Chris Paul was my favorite player in the NBA, and I still love him. He's gonna go down as an all-time great point guard, you know. But I have problems with any team paying Chris Paul or giving Chris Paul a max salary.
Okay.
Like you said, he's made a career out of not being there when the games count. And if you're not going to be there when it's crunch time, you don't deserve my max money. And I'm not against the Rockets re-signing Chris Paul because they need Chris Paul. But they overpaid, bro.
I would have really liked, and I really would have liked them to work out a LeBron kind of scenario where he's doing a 1 or 2 year option. 1 year on the contract, a player option for a second year, really frees up a lot of that money that you could use to build up a team like Houston. Capella's sticking around. Obviously, James Harden's not going anywhere, but you really would have liked a good
Capella
bench. Capella, I feel like he's not. I mean, where else would you want to go?
But I feel like this blunt's got to go to somebody.
Capella's a player that can, garner a max contract himself.
Really? You think so? I think honestly, I think he's a 10-10 guy, double guy at best, until I feel like gets maybe a better size, maybe a shooting game. I feel like he has a really strong shooting game. To me, I feel like Capella goes anywhere else, he's ridiculous.
Which could command money. Well, here's the thing. All year, the Rockets have been trying to figure out a way to keep their core guys together. And also bring in another superstar.
I agree. Okay.
And I believe you get 2 max contracts and a supermax or something like that.
It's along those lines, I believe.
You feel me? And Harden's on a supermax. Chris Paul is now going to be on a max. You feel me? And the other guy that they were talking about, potentially demanding a max and actually, playing decent enough this year to obtain one was Clint Capella on his team. So the dynamic was when all of the talk was, if LeBron is going to go to Houston, because it was Houston, or it was either Houston or
The
Philly.
Smart play for him was probably Houston, correct?
Or Philly in the beginning. You
Right,
know, before
absolutely.
all of the
Philly's
Lakers talk came into, it was either Houston or Philly. And the biggest knock on that him going to Houston was, well, you have a Supermax, James Harden. You have a Max that Chris Paul said he isn't resigning for anything less than a max contract, and we see, you know, they're going to give him exactly what he wants. And it was like, but the problem is now if you bring in LeBron, you have to give him a max because he's not going to play anything for anything less than a max, you know. But you got to keep guys around. You know, you got to still pay Eric Gordon and Clint Capella might.
I think that's where the money should have went, honestly, is Eric Gordon. Because if he saw as a bench guy coming behind Chris, he was a spark plug. And I feel like you could have done better to distribute that money to Capella and him because of Chris Paul's durability issues.
Yeah, and if you don't give Chris Paul a max, now you can think about possibly bringing 2 more superstars.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
if you can't keep a guy like Clint Capella in the league, you know.
I mean, I'm going to say it's probably what they had to do. I don't think a lot of people, for some reason, were gunning to come to Houston for some reason besides LeBron. LeBron is obviously that white whale. That,
LeBron trying to win championships. By the way, I'm just saying, I don't know if any of our listeners or you guys have seen the meme of Shannon Sharp, and it's like he got on a different suit every day, and the meme says, me waiting for LeBron James to tell me who my new favorite NBA team is this season. And
so he's a LeBron fan.
That meme is very true for me. Wherever LeBron go, that's my favorite team. Where do you guys think LeBron might end up?
I'm going to go with my heart on this one, not my head. The head tells me for some reason he ends up not in LA. But my heart tells me that Magic Johnson has talked to him in the offseason. He's tampered.
Oh yeah.
He's been critical of tampering, but you know what? You tamper with LeBron James. You tamper the out of him. And because you know why? He's the only guy that I've seen. Now I love Kobe Bryant and I love the 5 rings and I love everything he's done, the 80-something point game.
Kobe ain't LeBron.
But Kobe is not LeBron. And I'll tell you this.
And Swish MD will tell you Kobe
all net.
LeBron ain't Jordan, but you know we don't care about all of that because
Braun
to go. Braun to go.
Like LeBron is great. He has great skills. I mean, great publicity. That's great. Everybody loves him. But don't nobody think about Michael Jordan. I mean, he don't matter no more. No. Don't nobody let his shoe no more. Like what the fuck?
Braun to go.
Honestly, I look at it like this. You guys being a little bit younger than me, I look at it like this. Could LeBron make it in the NBA of old? Yes.
Yes.
Could he have the longevity of what he has now? No.
Why?
Because, granted, he is a physical specimen, 6'9", 250, I believe the measurements could be.
He's a big dude. He
is a big dude. Doesn't post. Doesn't do a lot of posting for some reason for a guy that's 6'9". I have no idea why. But the physicality, and Michael Jordan became great because of this, is that because the physicality of the league prior, it doesn't allow anybody to have long careers. I mean, the guys that did were megastars. And now I feel like the lower echelon players are still having long careers. I mean, Juwan Howard was in the league for almost
Jamal
20.
Crawford about to go on season 20.
Right, and Juwan's another guy. Probably played 20 seasons.
He's going to finally win a ring.
Played more or less part of their career in the physical, and then the other part was in the softer part, which allowed them to elongate their careers a lot more. But LeBron James could not have had the kind of career. Michael Jordan's been quoted as far as saying he had to go through teams to get better, to get more physical. The Detroit Pistons. The Boston Celtics. All these teams are beating them up. You go down the lane, you're getting smashed. These guys like Mason and Oakley, and I mean, these guys are just coming at you. I mean, Swish MD, help me out here. Any thoughts on this? I just don't think LeBron he's that guy, but he needs to realize that LA is the place for him. His marketability would skyrocket. He would be that next guy for the Lakers.
I agree 100% about. Oh, switch, my bad.
On that.
Y'all want me to speak or no? You know what I mean? Anyway, I don't know really all about the stats and stuff like that. I'm gonna keep it 100. But I feel like at the end of the day, it should be what LeBron wants to do, what his heart wants to do. I feel like you also have to consider the product, you know what I mean, like you said, his publicity and the money making and you know what I mean, the team. It's not just him. He gotta carry his team too, and that he shouldn't be in that situation. That's what I've seen from the little bit of half-ass basketball I'll be watching.
The Lakers have a contingency.
Yeah, right. Lakers got some young stars.
The Lakers have young stars.
I think Dr. C just in love with these Lakers, and he just got this bias situation that we not going to address.
But you know what? If LeBron go to the Lakers, I just said I'm waiting for him to tell me what my favorite team is. I might love the Lakers.
LeBron, I think,
I grew up hating the Lakers.
LeBron would look good in purple and yellow. I'm not gonna hide the fact that I am a homer here. I'm not from Los Angeles, but I love the original team: Celtics, Los Angeles Lakers. Go on. But I just feel like it makes too much sense for LeBron with his quarterback mentality, and that's what I call LeBron James as a quarterback of the NBA, because he literally he dictates his other players' movements. And for me, you've got the talent there. You say you don't want the ball, fine. Lonzo Ball is going to give you the ball as much as you want, LeBron. You got like another guy in Kyle Kuzma that surprised everybody this year with becoming a regular, not say triple-double guy, but solid double-double guy. He's got what we like to call potential.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram involved as well. He's had stints. You have the money to bring in B-level to A- level free agents still if you don't lie that. And I'm happy to say that you give LeBron a year with that team, being as young as it is.
No championship, though.
No championship, right? But maybe a first-round playoff outs.
Or you can go
and then look for 2019 to get that secondary player that Kawhi has signified to being his year of free agency. Klay Thompson's also available. Anthony Davis.
Just predict their future and just know how everything's going to go like a year, 5, 10 years from now.
It's all perspective. It's all perspective.
You can go by stats and stuff like that, but life can happen. He could break the like today. God forbid, LeBron. I ain't saying nothing against to you, but you know what I mean?
But that's a good point, and that's why I don't think he should go to the Lakers. I actually think he should go to a let's win now ready team in Philadelphia.
I agree with
Let's go to Philly, win a carry this team who was way too young this year to even make some noise. But you add a LeBron to Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Robert Covington, Andrew Wiggins, Darnell Sarge. Like if you add LeBron to this nucleus of players, you go from losing what they go 1-4 to Boston to probably knocking Boston out of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference Finals, you know, and I think that right there is a team, and maybe they bring in somebody else, you know, you never know. Maybe they bring in somebody else and they can knock off the Warriors as well.
Another key guy you're forgetting here, a lot of cogs working a machine. JJ Redick was a big cog for that.
JJ was the guy I was forgetting.
Yes, but JJ was a big. He has to resign.
What's so special about damn JJ?
He's a guy that
JJ's a sniper.
JJ is what you would call a sniper, correct?
When we say swish,
he's a guy that's reasonably priced for what he provides. Guy plays defense. He's a sniper. Anybody in that Philadelphia 76er team would have told you he's a big piece of that.
LeBron would love to play with J.J. Redick.
Thank you.
Because he's I got the ball. Swish.
Absolutely.
On it.
He's your Paxton. He's your Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
If I can quote the Elder Scroll of old basketball.
That's why I like Philly for LeBron, but wherever he lands, that's my favorite team this year. And it's gonna be like that until the man retires. He's the GOAT.
I am.
He just not all that for me. He switched over to the Giants. I ain't about to love them. Like,
wow. Leave it to Dr. Swish to switch over to football.
Right.
Right in the middle. Right in the middle of the NBA.
Perfect segue perfect segue to our next topic, the NFL off-season review, where we're gonna talk about things that happen over the course of the NFL offseason. It's like the dead part of the offseason in the NFL right now. So
it's an exciting part, and it isn't. I mean, we've gotten through with the draft. We know who we're getting. We know who's available. OTAs have kind of worked their way through. Everybody's done. Everybody's basically waiting on spring. Is basically waiting on the practice games. That was what I like to call them. But it's a slow period, but it's still stuff to talk about. You still have Des Bryant out there. You still have a lot of teams figuring out things. The NFL, to me right now, unfortunately, it's dead. It's dead. OTAs don't excite me.
I don't think it was how it was before, but
I mean, it's just
okay. We got some breaking news.
All right, let's hear what we got.
What do we
Jameis Winston suspension, man. How you
Jameis,
feel about that? Ain't that your team? I thought you was gonna lead with that.
Jameis is it's technically a sour note, I guess, on me. Jameis, to this point, and I'm gonna say it, disappointing. You thought this was a college thing. You thought this was a young man thing. When I draft a guy number 1 in the NFL draft, I forget what year it was. I'm looking for a leader. I'm looking for a guy that's gonna.
This is his 5th-year option, right?
We had picked up prior to this being exposed out in the media.
So is this the option year, or is next year the option year?
This was his.
Because I think this is Jameis's last chance.
I feel like it is, and a lot of people are calling for him to be cut.
Hey.
To me, I want to believe him. I want to believe him. Oh, you're right, Dr. Swish. I want to believe the guy, but there's a track record.
Yeah, and 4 times. One time we can say, maybe, he's young. Oops, I made a mistake. 2 times, I'm going to lower my eyebrow a little bit on the second time, but
right.
I'm still gonna, give him the benefit of the doubt because he was young and he's still a young man. But when you get to 4 times, it's like, come on now. All of these women ain't lying, and it's not like the Me Too movements that's going on where everybody's like, oh, this person touched me, this person touched me, this person touched me because they want to, be like Me Too. It's like all of these happened, like all of these women came out, at different times, And it's been years and years and years of this shit.
I'm going to speak one time on the woman's point of view. It ain't, something that, you want to come out and say, like, oh, yeah, so how many days, years, months ago, he raped me or whatever. He touched me, he harassed me,
that does happen, you're right.
It do happen.
It's embarrassing to the woman just as much as it is to the man.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if that's the case and stuff like that, it would be dumb and stupid and retarded for any woman to come out and be like, yeah, he raped me 20 years ago. I got proof. What are you talking about?
You're still a victim, I feel like.
Right.
You're still a victim.
You might be a victim, but do I believe you?
We weren't in that Uber car. But I feel like,
I believe it 4 times is enough for me to believe it.
And the fact that he's not trying to fight this.
Right.
He's trying to sweep this on the rug.
The reason why it's only 3 games is because he agreed not to appeal, so the NFL say, okay, we won't suspend you 6 games, we'll just give you 3 games.
They're not even trying to let the past be in the past, though. I know that's a woman or whatever, but you know what I mean? Why you fucking with the man's career? Let it be.
If she's a victim, he needs to,
He needs to address the issue. He's talked about sobriety.
4 times is too much. And yes, okay, he cut alcohol out of his life forever ago, so
I agree.
It's not an alcohol thing, it's not a drug thing.
This
is a Jameis problem,
Let me talk to you guys real quick.
And if I'm that organization, I get rid of him.
I'll say this as being an immigrant-raised person. Both parents are immigrants. You guys are both African American. You, Dr. Swish, is
I'm white and black.
He's white and black.
Swirl like ice cream.
Why is it that there's so much stress put on a quote-unquote black quarterback when it comes to problems that happen. But then you see guys like Ben Roethlisberger, Super Bowl champ, of course, but also has a stint of supposedly going into a bathroom with the girl without her willingness. Not to mention the Hayabusa accident. So you're seeing definitely other guys.
I feel like Ben's backlash was worse than what I hear about what's going on with Jameis right now. Because I remember a lot of people actually openly hating Ben, and a lot of threats coming out for Ben and things like that when his issues were brought up. So I get the dynamic because I just feel like back then there were only but so many platforms for you to break news on. Now there's so many platforms for you to break news on, so you hear it so frequently that you think it's worse. But the type of backlash that, Ben got versus what Jameis is getting, Jameis is having a cakewalk.
I feel like when you talk about
the world is being very nice to Jameis.
How the world is set up and stuff like that, how media is set up, they jump on the bad shit. And if they have a victim, or a person who did something wrong, they're gonna throw them under the bus as much as possible, through media, Facebook, whatever they want to do. I'm not saying that, men don't be men and, rape bitches, because they do. But I'm just saying that at the same time, you have women who are drunk and, under the influence or whatever, and they throw themselves at men in a different situation, and then things crash, and then, it's a yes, and maybe it's a no, and then too late, before you know it, you getting fucked. So, you just need to watch yourself. As a woman, you need to prepare and just let a nigga know that that's not going to happen.
Very true. Very true.
You could always cut his penis off, and he can bleed to death. Not throwing that out there directly, but that can happen.
Wow. Doc just went south of the boiler on us.
Yeah, she won't cut a dick off.
I don't agree with your tactics, but yeah, I feel like that could be. I don't agree with
cutting a man's dick off either.
I could feel like that could be responsive.
But if I'm telling him no, I give a man 3 no's before, I'm going to react on that. And if I have your dick in my hand, I'm going to cut it off if you keep trying to rape me.
Yeah, some women just not that strong. You, my friend, are nuts. All right. Off to
pushing forward the NFL off-season review.
Coming from a Marley Greenbud.
Any early excitement about your team, Dr. Swish, about
I'm looking
the
forward to the Giants, stepping on the field, but
I just want to
I hope and pray. That's all I'm going to say, and I'm going to hope and pray.
Okay. I just want to put this, and
nobody fuck with them Ravens, though.
Yes, and I'm glad you said that, because I want to put this down, and have it on concrete,
Fuck
me and,
Ravens.
This is Dr. Dre. Yes, I am a Ravens fan. Baltimore, true and true. Flock Nation. I bet on the Ravens against Swish, over here. And if the Ravens win their first game and the Giants lose their first game, then Swish is going to be a Ravens fan for that year. Half the year, and with an option to rebet halfway through the season.
And that's the day, time, and place I die slow.
Or if the Giants win their first game and the Ravens lose their first game, then
I'm talking to Eli,
I'm a Giants fan.
Get it together. What is y'all doing?
For the first 8 weeks.
Lately, y'all been just not where y'all need to be.
For the
Funky ass Ravens.
So you could be a Ravens fan, Swish, huh?
I could, and then I could also die slow, and he could die with me.
If both teams win or both teams lose, the bet is just canceled, and we go on enjoying our fandom and talking shit about each other's team.
But I feel like the Ravens are always
Giants are trash. Ravens are awesome.
Penis to me. That's just how I feel personally.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel. Baltimore
I'm just saying
Ravens.
the Giants drafted high enough to take Saquon, and that says a lot about how good that team is.
Good point.
I have high hopes for my Ravens this year, though. We got a new quarterback.
You have high hopes, and they will drop very, very slow. It's going to be funny.
What? That defense is coming back. Did you not see how trash?
You hope and pray your defense come back.
How awesome that defense
And when it drop and falls slow, like your hope, I don't want to hear of
nothing.
Marley of Greenbud.
It's not.
So what you're saying is
watch.
look out for the G-men? Is that what you're saying?
I'm telling you to watch out for the New York Giants and the Jets too. They coming where they need to be. You know what I mean? Lately we ain't been, but we coming back. And ain't nobody, jumping on, Dr. C side. You know what I mean?
Well,
I'm just saying, well, at least without a starting quarterback.
the whole world is against us in the
Jameis
NFC
is the
South.
quarterback, so
I hope that
we're not even
Flacco
picked to
falls and hurts himself, not like die, but scrapes his knee or something.
But then you're dealing with Lamar Jackson. But then you're dealing with Lamar Jackson now.
Lamar Jackson can
which could be more dangerous for a lot of people. There's not a lot of tape on him. Guy is way more mobile than Joe Flacco, which with a questionable offensive line could be the answer.
Questions?
Or
questions?
Real shit, I feel like because of the fact that, like you said, we have
multiple guys that can play
like
damn
the
near
Ravens
the
have
whole
been used to
offensive
Flacco
line.
for however the fuck many years.
All it is
and then you gonna have a new quarterback just slide in like everything gonna be Gucci Batucci. It's not, because he's gonna want to star out and do his thing, and then you got a whole team that's not ready to follow. So y'all gonna go down the gut tour.
But do you hear the buzz coming out of Baltimore?
I hear the buzz, but that doesn't mean that the buzz
you don't hear the buzz because guys in skill positions, they are excited about playing with Lamar Jackson. I see more excitement about playing with Lamar Jackson than I do with coming back and playing with Joe. Yes, I mean everybody wants to play with the guy that can sling it 100 yards down the field if he wanted to. You feel me? But the excitement for playing with Lamar Jackson, when Lamar Jackson is on the field, I watch all of these clips of them, in OTAs, and dude can play. But to that offensive line, that questionable offensive line comment Dr. C just threw out there. And sounds like he thought we was the Bucks for a minute.
Well, I feel like offensive line is our problem, but it feels like we have addressed that in the offseason, and we're yet to see what's going to develop with that offensive line.
But with the Ravens, we have guys, that we know, that we've seen can play multiple lines, and we lost our best offensive lineman that we had last year. But
to who now? To who? Who did you lose this guy to again? The Buccaneers, I believe, right? Is that right, Dr. Dre? Is that the right script?
As I was gonna say, the team that got him overpaid for him.
That's not my problem. And I don't deal with that.
And they're gonna and he's a dog. He's a fighter. And when Kiko Alonso knocked Flacco ass clean out last year,
who hit him?
Ryan Jensen was like, "Nigga, that's my."
Right. All right. Moving forward.
That's my quarterback.
Moving forward. But, we addressed everything. Teams running the ball on us. We have one of the most expansive defensive linemen going forward. With Vita Vea is a beast. I feel like he is
that defensive line won't be the truth, but James gone.
But I feel like Ryan Fitzpatrick is not the best backup. He's applicable at best. He can read a playbook. He can run a system.
And he can learn it quick. We've seen that with him.
I feel like a lot of games, if you checked his numbers last year,
you know what I like about
play, he went over 300 yards a couple of those games. I think
the suspension of Jameis takes y'all first 3 games from a possible 1-2 to 3-0 with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Because for some reason, when Ryan Fitzpatrick go to a new team, he just lighted up the first couple games, and then you like, oh my God, this team is gonna go to the playoffs with Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then it's towards the end of the year where he starts to stink it up, So if you can,
I feel like he's got all the weapons fresh. Everybody's gonna be hopefully healthy after, our little practice games, I like to call them. But anyways, I feel like they're gonna be there's tons of weapons for Fitzpatrick. He's running with the first team offense probably. For the remainder of the summer, going into that. He's got 3 games. Teams are going to underestimate him. I feel like it's up for him to win those games. He's got plenty of weapons. I feel like the offensive line has been rejuvenated somewhat. He's got the running game. Hopefully, we'll see what Donald Jones, the second or third, I believe, whatever he is, and a little bit of sprinkle of Peyton Barber will do. But like I said, spring train or off-season NFL, you never can tell what's going to happen. Bleacher Report. So this is my next breaking news, and this is something we're very excited about to talk about. Swoosh MD is definitely another aspect on this, but we've got some breaking news. Bleacher Report. Now, this is something that that my co-host Dr. Dre had filled me. This is a Bleacher Report that actually came out in the off season, and I want to say that it's retrospective to what we thought was going on, but for some reason has not been put to light that much. The fact that we found out through this Bleacher Report that the NFL only drug tests their players once a year. And NBA does theirs about 3 times. MLB, I can't even think how many times they probably do it. Other sports, who knows? But for the NFL to only do it once a year, and if we saw players, and you can discuss that as well.
Yeah, so there was a roundtable discussion like thing that
Kinda
Bleacher Report did with some guys that used to play in a league. I'm not gonna state those guys' name. You know, if you want to check it out, it's a Bleacher Report roundtable discussion. You can go straight to YouTube, type in Bleacher Report or marijuana in NFL. That's how I found it out. And one of these guys, all of these guys discuss, talk the use of marijuana during NFL season. And one of the guys goes on to say, after being asked, how many guys he thought did it, he said about 80%.
80%. That's a big number.
That's a big number.
That's a huge number.
That's damn near all of them.
Yeah.
That's a smoking weed.
And the most interesting point about the introduction to this topic is that the NFL only tests 1 time a year, and it's in the beginning of the year, around OTAs, you're either right as OTAs starting or somewhere near the end of OTAs, and what these guys were saying is that they couldn't wait for their name to be called, during that time frame, because right after, they was going straight home and they was lighting up.
Light up the good ganja.
I'm excited to see that the players are taking their own ways as far as prescribing themselves. I'm always, and I'll say this on the first show, that I am as a doctor, I am not a big pharma guy. I am a herbal regiment, so to speak.
I like the flower as well.
I don't particularly agree on big pharma and what they provide for people. They tend to pretend to cure one problem while introducing 5 others.
I feel
I don't agree with that.
When it comes to weed and then marijuana, whatever, and then it comes to pills, you basically, when you smoke weed or you eat weed or you have oils with weed or THC or however you digest the marijuana into your body, there's no side effects. You have to take pills.
Well,
even when you buy
there
a
are
leaf,
some
if
effects,
you turn,
right?
And they're beneficial.
A little bit of a weight problem.
There are no
hungry, happy, sleepy,
serious side effects. Even when you buy a bottle of Aleve, you turn on the back, you may cause vomit, may cause this, that, and the third, may cause rash, and that's something you take all the time. But marijuana is so illegal, and it's a drug, and it's so hated, which is ridiculous because the research and things like that, it's possible it could cure cancer and a lot of other things.
Yeah, we had a party last night to celebrate, 1 year of one of our friends, being clean off of pills because he caught an addiction, and it was destroying his life, his funds, his family. And, as I think about, medical marijuana and why it's important and things like that, we use marijuana, because it doesn't destroy your life, destroy your funds, and it ruin, your family dynamic in any way, it helps with that in a sorts, I've never seen anyone that smoked weed that wasn't motivated to get money, to make sure that they can take care of their life and still have money left over to smoke weed, and we celebrated that, and we were standing outside, and we were smoking a blunt, and we were playing a game of what grinds my gears, It's crazy. It was like 5 adults out there playing what grinds my gears, But one of the things that grinded my gears was that I was standing outside smoking a blunt, something that, I feel is, more healthy than any other drug you can, put out there. And I was more comfortable, drinking a beer, which, is sometimes poison, than I was smoking a blunt, which could, benefit my body more. So, that I just figured that was interesting.
These players, they need an outlet. They need other ways of dealing with the pain that they obviously deal with. It's a gladiator sport. To me, it was surprising because of the obviously the honesty of the players of the report, but just
that
the
was
fact
crazy. That was really shocking to me.
It's one of those things that the NFL probably doesn't want you to know, but for some reason they don't really paint that picture for you, and I get it. It's not the product they want to sell, but it's good to see that the players themselves are taking initiatives as far as their health. 80% to me was a huge number. The fact that they were so open and candid about waiting for that first test and all right, the fact that they're taking the initiative and they're doing what they can for their bodies, and the fact that there was a big number, it's good to see that the players are doing what they can for this. And segue into that would be a good thing to keep our local listeners informed on is the local Cannabis Fest going on in Lakeland, Florida, happening in October. It's not just what you would think would be like a smoke fest necessarily. It's more or less an information festival about the pros, and obviously I don't think there's a lot of cons to medical marijuana in the state of Florida. And it's a big thing. They're looking to get signatures. You're talking about the facts that you're going to hear testimonials from families that deal with issues that also deal with healing of marijuana. But just the fact that they're going to be informing these local listeners here in Lakeland, Florida, that there's going to be entertainment there. There's going to be wrestling there, which me and Dr. Dre here are huge fans of, and we're very excited to look and see what they have to offer. And the fact that they're probably going to talk about the obviously what we just broke with the Bleacher Report is that there are ways for our athletes and our heroes to get a little more help from other avenues rather than prescription pills. So I'm happy to hear about that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna of course drag Dr. Dre with me, because he is a Marley Bud specialist. So
that's the Cannabis Fest. That you won't be dragging me there. I will be, jumping,
at the
with joy,
at the opportunity
on the way there. I'll be the grown man that sounds like a big kid in the car. Like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? They don't call me MGB for a reason. MGB stands for Marley Greenbud, by the way. But yeah, that.
Feel like it's. I've been to the venue. It's a nice venue. I feel like it's an outdoors venue, which was supposed to be for a Cannabis Fest, and for what I hear from the like I said, the real message in this whole thing is just the fact that more people need to get exposed about the correct information as far as what cannabis can help with. And that's the real point of this whole thing, is not the fact that it's not a smoke fest. It's not, let's get blazed. It's, hey, let's get informed about things.
Right, and if you're not interested in the topic, please do not try to ruin this event for people.
Absolutely not. Good point.
Want to learn about it. Because you may not agree with the use of marijuana as a medical aid, but it's only right that you give people the opportunity to accurately form an opinion themselves. You don't agree with medical marijuana, I don't agree with taking pills. So, if I can't censor you, don't censor us. That's all I have to say about it. This event is going to be really good. A really good learning experience, and it's going to open up a lot of people's eyes, and I can't wait for it. Hopefully, we have more involvement in the Cannabis Fest than just attending it,
Would love to be an advocate there. Would love to give some
anybody
testimonial.
that's in control of that, thing hears this, and you like some guys that are be willing to do whatever it takes to be involved in this type of event to show our support. We don't have any finances. If we did, we would definitely, contribute that way.
Absolutely.
But, we're hard workers and we're not afraid to get our hands dirty. We'd be willing, to do whatever.
I feel like another point that this festival is trying to do is get as much media exposure as possible.
Right.
And us being a podcast could never hurt.
Yeah. So we'll definitely, drop a plug, once a week until October.
That's right. Cannabis Fest 2018, Lakeland, Florida, Maddox Ranch. Be there, please.
Yes, let's do this.
Touch a little bit. I will touch a little bit, and I will touch a little bit lightly because it's World Cup, and you're not allowed to use your hands.
Yeah, and I don't know much about the World Cup,
so we'll be brief.
We'll be brief. We'll be brief. C inform you guys.
So Dr. Cubano here, and World Cup 2018, Russia. Obviously, if you're into that kind of thing, go ahead. World Cup excitement. I mean, it's just in the air right now. I mean, I could write a script for that because I'm telling you, it's one of those things like the Olympics. It comes around once every 4 years. In a different country every year, the country gets a shitload of money, and then after they leave, the country goes corrupt. So anyways, I'm just going to give a brief description on what I would like the World Cup to be at the end. I think everybody wants to see the Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi matchup with Portugal and Argentina. Now, is it going to happen that way? I'm not sure. But right now, I'm going with Portugal to pull it out. It's Ronaldo's time. I feel like it's at the end, and what better way to end a career on a World Cup? And on that note, I'm going to send it over to my main man, my tag team partner, Marley Greenbud, Dr. Dre.
All right.
He's got some special awards to give out, don't you, Dre?
Yeah, we're gonna give out some awards today, and these aren't like real awards or anything like that. I just wanted to in the downtime of the sports season, when the World Cup is going on and nothing else is going on. I'm not a big fan of, soccer. So, I'm gonna, give out some superlatives and, give some options of superlatives. Players, from across all multiple sports platforms, that should be considered for these awards, and then we're going to pick who we feel like should be our winners.
I feel like there's a special name we want to call them.
What do you mean?
We call them our Golden
the awards.
Scholars.
Yeah, we're gonna call these awards. We're gonna give these guys figurative golden statues. Golden scalpels. So
almost better than Oscars. I feel like.
Way better than Oscar.
I feel like there's the golden scalpel. There's maybe the Lombardi, and then Oscar, and then and so on. So very very high award, very very notable things. But
scalpels over Lombardis. That's how we feel about this. So these awards, though not important to the sports world, in real life, really important to us. So for the first opportunity to win, the golden scalpel, who in their respective sport is the best player right now? Our options are, for the NBA, LeBron James. In the NFL, Tom Brady. In wrestling, AJ Styles. I feel like we should throw another guy in. This is all on the fly, so I feel like we should throw somebody else in there. So
I'm gonna go
you got any options?
I'm gonna go with Conor McGregor.
Okay, MMA. All right.
MMA, obviously, reason for that. He is the sport. Anybody not drinking the Conor McGregor Kool-Aid is ridiculous.
So, which of the best players of their respective sport do we feel deserve the golden scalpel of the best of all? You know, the most important player, the most polarizing player of their sport.
Polarizing. Now you say polarizing, and it intrigues me.
I say polarizing because I'm trying to lean you towards my pick. You know, because when you say polarizing, you can.
It's a good word to use when it comes to
person.
It comes to words. You definitely picked a good one. Polarizing. Let's say baseball. Right now.
We didn't even announce a baseball contestant. So
that's right.
Do you want to announce one?
No.
We can have a fifth contestant.
No.
This is on the fly. We're gonna work some structure to it eventually, but this is on the fly.
Wrestling. I'm gonna go with obviously my most popular pick. I'll go with the Miz. Almost longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. Has his own show on USA. His brand is getting big.
Okay.
His brand is getting big, and I feel like if it's not his time at the end of this year, maybe it's him more or less going into what other people could believe is a movie show career.
The Miz is very quietly, but very loudly one of the most important people in the WWE.
Guy does amazing charity work. His father now. He's gotten that kind of ideal of, he could be that next brand that the WWE is looking for.
He's, in my opinion, the GOAT IC champion. When The Miz has the strap, the championship is the most important. And it don't matter who's the WWE champion, The Miz is the show. When The Miz says, welcome everybody to WWE's most must-see television, most must-see talk show. This is, we all say, Miz TV, and he's heel. So Miz might be the most polarizing out of everybody in the WWE.
And Tom Brady, obviously, one of the iconic faces, possibly on the Mount Rushmore, possibly of quarterbacks.
Greatest system quarterback of all time.
The guy's got rings. That's all I'm saying. At the end of the day,
guy's got rings without an arm. I'm just saying. I don't know if Brady has the talent for me to consider him as being polarizing. So though he might be the GOAT of his position or of the NFL, however you look at it, if we're gonna go with the most polarizing player, right now, because when I think of polarizing, it's okay. So this isn't my favorite team, or so I don't have a favorite team, but I'm gonna watch this because I like this player, and a guy that makes me, really, really interested in watching his games, Deshaun Watson.
Well, I was going to agree with you as far as when he was in the league, that he was amazing. But another guy, and he's a guy that mostly gets the screams and the yells at, but I'm going to go with the blonde-haired wonder out in New York Giants, the Odell Beckhams. Because when he's on the field and when he's in what we like to call on the team, when he's about, all right, what I'm saying is that when he's on your page, he's one of the guys that you can't stop.
Yeah, I mean, if I see OBJ's on a roster, I'm going to circle him immediately as a guy that we need to pay extra attention to. But I just know when Odell Beckham played the Ravens and he's standing across from Jimmy Smith, he can't do shit. So, you know, maybe that says more about
you
Jimmy
said polarizing, Smith, you didn't say most important.
Right, than Odell, but, you know, I'm not a big Odell fan. I don't like the diva thing, you know. And the only reason why I don't like it because I remember coming up being a huge fan of T.O. and not knowing about how much of a diva he was because we didn't have all of this social media that we have right now. And then when we started getting it, we saw, you know, a different side of T.O., you know, that possibly is the reason why he had to wait 3 years before they, you know, decided he was Hall of Fame worthy. Even though T.O. is one of the greatest receivers of all time, in my opinion. But I
I'm just letting you know.
Okay. And
because I can't disagree with you with the NBA. LeBron James is it.
Yeah.
He's the kid and caboodle. He's whatever you want to call it. He's the bee's knees. He's the bees and Franks. He's whatever you want to call it. Steph Curry, yeah, I get it. Big part of what keeps the Warriors doing what they're doing. But with KD there and Klay Thompson there, it kind of muddies the water for me a little bit. So it's not like he's polarizing. Important piece, yes. Polarizing LeBron James.
So
I'm sorry.
I guess this award is going to go to LeBron James because we both agree that, you know, he's the most polarizing player of his sport.
He commands a free agency. He commands social media when he's there. When he gets a team, he's basically it. I mean, even when you saw in Miami with two other big stars, Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh not being a huge star, but at the time was big.
Big enough to make him come into Miami with LeBron and Wade a story. You know, so that says something.
Big enough for LeBron James to go to him and say, hey, why don't we do this, rather than him coming to LeBron.
Right.
So I feel like, you know, yeah. But LeBron James, I feel like, yeah, clear-cut winner.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the next award I want to give out, and I'm only going to do two for the purpose of our time crunch here. And so the next and the final award of the segment next time it'll be more, and we'll, you know, do more with the segment. But
of course, I mean, this is something we're just experimenting with. Absolutely.
I'm hungry.
Yeah. The next award is gonna be the best championship team of the sports year. You know, and this is open to all sports except for the ones that are currently running right now, because there is no champion crown yet. So, you know, so obviously the Warriors were the NBA Finals champions.
Obviously.
The Philadelphia Eagles were the Super Bowl champions. The Capitals won a Stanley Cup.
Absolutely. Finally. Thank you, Alex Ovechkin.
Baseball, is that done with yet?
Baseball is still going on, my friend. We're about to hit the All-Star game.
We're not going to talk about baseball champion yet. Alright, so.
What, sports awards, I like your aspect of Golden Scalp, but I want to see if we could throw a black scalp or a not-so-good Golden Scalp in there, if that's okay for you. Okay, this Golden Scalp is going to go out to somebody we both really respect. And someone that has changed their business, so to speak, has went from one, so to speak, job and gone and done something else, and really hasn't succeeded the way he thought he was. And I'm talking about CM Punk.
Oh, yes, we need to talk about CM Punk.
And the reason why I want to give this a negatively...
So, alright, so CM Punk's award is not an actual award. It's more like an honorable mention of...
something not to do.
Yeah. And so he's not getting a gold scalpel. He's actually going to get, you know, the rusted up silver scalpel.
Thank you. So he's going to get a rusty scalpel.
Rust. There you go.
And the reason why I say this is because I've seen two of his matches. and
fights.
the they haven't impressed me, obviously. If you've ever been a big fan of MMA, you've seen them as well, and you've kind of laughed at them. You've seen what CM Punk has brought as a product to MMA, and it's not as what he was or once was for WWE, which was the guy. He was a WWE champion at the time.
Probably the most polarizing guy in WWE when he was there.
When at his time, right?
You know, and
it still has one of the best shoots we've talked about several times. Absolutely, the pipe bomb. And it's one of those things that we still talk about this day.
And they still chant CM Punk in Chicago.
Absolutely.
Like, guys been gone forever, and they still chant CM Punk in Chicago. You can't go to Chicago without those CM Punk chants.
And the last fight for me was what done it. Yes, he was fighting a terrible fighter because he was cocky. He didn't show CM Punk much respect or discipline in the ring. But in all fairness, I just don't believe CM Punk should have been there in the first place. If you saw the fight afterwards, CM Punk was just devastated. His face was devastated. It feels like he was the cold slab of meat in the Rocky movie. That's what it felt like to me. And I don't want to see CM Punk like that. I want to see him going back to wrestling. I want to see him doing what his fans love him to do, and that's not MMA fighting, and that's WWE.
Hey.
I don't know what avenue.
It doesn't even have to be WWE, but CM Punk, you are a professional wrestler. When you are a professional wrestler, you are the best in the world, you know, and nobody can take that from you. When you talk, everybody listens, and everybody tweets about what you say, and everything you say damn near is a hashtag, bro. Like, I get it. You wanted to chase your dream. You chased it. It doesn't look like it's gonna be, you know, a promising dream chase. So don't give up on that dream. You know, you can always do WWE and work on MMA, you know, in your spare time.
Some avenue,
and I'm
absolutely.
pretty sure just the idea of having CM Punk back in WWE would convince them to give you, you know, the schedule you want. So, hey,
I feel like
if you love it, come back. We will accept you open arms, and I'm a huge wrestling fan.
As a doctor, I feel like he needs to step away before he kills himself.
That MMA.
Get back to what you're doing. Yes, it is a physical sport. Anybody that wrestles or has wrestled will also tell you that it's not pretend. We both, of course, agree with that.
Oh, yeah.
It's not something that everybody can do.
I've been seriously injured from taking a pedigree the wrong way.
Absolutely.
You know, so
concussed and knocked out, wasn't it? Almost paralyzed.
Paralyzed for 8 months.
Paralyzed for 8 months from a pedigree.
From a pedigree.
So it's nothing to laugh at. These wrestlers are doing obviously
wrestling is a sport, and that's why we discuss it.
And yeah, that's my rusty.
Real to me. Damn it!
That's my rusty scalpel, and I hope CM Punk hears that because I want him to have a long life, and that is that's what's important.
Yeah. So yeah, before we go though, I do want to talk some WWE. I don't really remember too much of what happened this week, so I'm just gonna hit on some of my favorite things that happened this week. I love the whole feud that's developing between Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre.
When I saw Drew McIntyre, I automatically I saw Roman Reigns facing off with him, and that being some kind of feud. Obviously, Dolph Ziggler is a great handler for Drew McIntyre going forward. I feel like that's something that Dolph should really hook his reins in and keep that as long as he can until they break up. Obviously, said matchup.
Like this whole dynamic can take. It reminds me of the Shawn Michaels Diesel.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely.
Combo, and that took Diesel from being a supporting cast member to a world champion.
Yeah, definitely not a.
But before Diesel got that world championship, Shawn was world champion for a very long time.
Well, don't get me wrong. Drew McIntyre is going to still have to go through the bumps and bruises and wait for his turn. But going forward, matching up with Dolph Ziggler could possibly end him going into a tag team title reign, which I feel like they both could be successful in.
Straps, championships are what it's about.
Or I could definitely see them working not necessarily a DX angle where one guy has one title and the other guy has another title.
Right, and
So, and them being some kind of powerful duo.
That was the point I was about to make. I think Ziggler is going to graduate from that IC championship to the Universal Championship at some point once they figure out this whole Brock Lesnar situation, and that's gonna, and then the IC Championship will find its way around Drew McIntyre's waist for the second time he's been IC champion before, by the way. And maybe they will have a tag team title run, which would be cool. You feel me? It'll be awesome for, the career of these guys. And Dolph Ziggler, definitely going to go down as one of the GOATs. And I say this because this is a guy who
was a quarterback at one time.
Probably. I'm not sure. I know he's a world-class amateur wrestler. Kent State All-American.
Is that what I think he played quarterback too? Was at Kent State.
But he's had so many opportunities for his career to fizzle out based on how he's been booked. But every time you think, oh my God, Dolph is stale, what are they doing? He needs to just give it up. He's never going to be a guy.
He finds some way to recreate this, right?
He shuts you up and captures another championship.
He's definitely got to keep on the rise. Another group that we're very interested in, and we've obviously speculated on this privately, but we're going to go publicly, is just overall the women's division. What they're doing with it, I love it.
Best thing in WWE right now.
The talent they've got coming in, the talent they have there already, it's overly. They're going global. They've brought on Australians now. They've brought in Asuka, which we sing her praises constantly over the air in other podcasts about how we enjoy her and how fresh she is. But
I'm just gonna say for the women's division, like, you have Charlotte, you have Becky Lynch, you have Sasha Banks, you have Bayley, you have Sonya Deville, you have Mandy Rose, you have the Riot Squad,
Amber Rose,
you have Ember Moon, you have
and they're not just
Lana, you have Naomi, Bayley. And I'm naming all of these women because the WWE's women's roster is stacked.
Absolutely.
You have the iconic duo who is, though annoying for the internet fans out there who wants to say, oh, the iconic duo is annoying. The iconic duo is annoying. They're supposed to be.
Absolutely.
It's their gimmick.
It's their gimmick.
And they work that gimmick so perfectly.
Absolutely.
And they have the accents that are just right for it. And I'm saying Australian accents are annoying because they're very sexy.
Absolutely.
And I love the iconic duo because of their accents. But they use their accents to make themselves annoying. It's a tool and they use it, but I love it. I love them. I don't want to get into a conversation about the iconic duo because I can talk about them.
I'm really excited for some reason. I'm going to throw a curveball at you. Riot Squad. To me, Riot Squad.
Not feeling them.
To me, Riot Squad has not just the main figure, which is we all know Ruby Riot. But the Liv Morgans.
I love Liv, but I love Liv by herself. I don't love the Riot Squad.
And we've experienced Liv. We watched her wrestle before in an NWA event here in Lakeland.
When she wasn't even getting TV time on NXT, WWE had a show in Lakeland. I mean, when I was there, I knew who Liv Morgan was, but this was Pat. This is
First
Dr. C's exposure to...
First exposure. And I was impressed. I like the character. I like who she is. That's why I like the Riot Squad. And to me, it's the one you don't really hear about. And I forget her name. What is the one I want to talk about? The one with the darker hair.
I'm trying to think.
Anyways.
I always forget her name because you got...
Great role player.
You got Absolution, who's Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose right now.
Right, which I love Mandy Rose. I'm sorry.
I love Mandy too.
I love Mandy.
Corey
Graves is my man because he sits so close to her, and every time she's on, he compliments her.
I never I watched NXT and I seen Mandy Rose a lot, and I never really thought about how attractive and how much I loved her until Corey Graves never let me forget how beautiful she is. And Corey Graves, you are an eye opener,
Absolutely.
my friend. And Mandy Rose is everything you say she is, and everything that you're thinking about doing to her, I'm also thinking about doing to her. But yeah,
I mean, it goes without saying. I think to me, it's not just the looks; it's the wrestling skill.
Right, and that's the thing.
It's the
really
persona.
Good.
It's the whole package for me. I'm a big Alexa Bliss fan, but for me, Mandy Rose has kind of jumped her leaps and bounds, and not just because of the wrestling skills. I mean, I was a Bliss fan.
Yeah, you were.
I was a Bliss fan for a while.
And you said a big one. You know, I thought you were gonna say I'm.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying like I'm not saying talent wise. I'm just saying overall beauty. Okay. Like if there was a calendar, or something like that, I wouldn't necessarily like
Who's
say
front page on that calendar?
Well, I hope it's Mandy Rose, but I doubt it's probably gonna. I mean, who I want or who's probably gonna be? Because for me, it's probably gonna be Charlotte. Who do
you want? Because I don't want,
For me personally, I mean,
and let's include NXT.
NXT, I can't remember anybody from NXT, so I'm terrible with that. And I'm sorry,
okay.
NXT.
That's okay.
I'm sorry, NXT.
If you think it's your bid, I just want to be able to.
I'll probably go with, honestly, and I probably won't get a lot of positive reinforcement. I'll probably go Asuka first. And then I'll probably go, because I think January is somehow affiliated with the Chinese New Year or Japanese New Year or something like that. So I'll go with that. I'll stay with that. Then I'll go, of course, with Mandy Rose.
Not the first month. The cover page where it says, "Oh, this is the calendar. Who we putting right there?" Because I don't want to have to,
Man, it's either Mandy or it's Carmella.
Oh.
It's either Mandy or it's Carmella, I think.
I think Carmella looked like a skeleton.
You think?
For some
so?
She kind of looked like she does dope to me. So I'm not really attracted to Carmella. Like her face is just like sinking in for some reason, and I don't know.
Maybe it's a Tony little bit.
But if you watch her, it looks like her face is sinking in.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not seeing the same Carmella you're seeing. But I mean, everybody sees it, through different eyes. But Mandy Rose for me is definitely page one.
All right, so in front cover.
And
who am I gonna?
If you're selling calendars, you're putting her on top shelf.
Mandy Rose.
Yeah,
I'm not putting her.
You're not putting her on the cover. Who are you putting on the cover then?
I'm gonna go to NXT for my guess.
Oh, NXT.
And you can Google her, but her name she's NXT's resident pirate, Kairi Sane.
Okay.
And I like that you had Asuka there. Even though
I feel like it's an Asian theme. I like Asians.
You changed it because of the reason. Because I took away, that stipulation of it having to be January.
Mm-hmm.
But if you'd have left her there, that would have been perfect because then we both would have had two Japanese women.
Okay, I see.
People.
All right, I think I know you're talking about.
Kairi Sane is, another Japanese woman, and she's the most attractive woman in WWE.
Obviously better looking than Asuka, right? But
Asuka's not unattractive either, though. I'm attracted to Asuka, way more attracted to Asuka than I am Carmella.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it the Asian thing, or is it just everything?
I just think she's an attractive woman, But I don't know. I'm
Do you feel like if something were to climax and she'd look over at you and say,
"No,
Asuka"?
I'm not ready. I don't think I'm ready for Asuka.
You ready for Asuka?
I'm ready. Hey, Sasha. I'm ready for you. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know, man. That's a tough calendar. It's a tough calendar because
we have to take a show one of these shows and map out what our calendar would be.
Because have you seen Trish Stratus? Did you see Trish Stratus at WrestleMania?
I grew up being in love with Trish Stratus. When I seen Trish Stratus, I'm like, dang.
She
looks even better than she did.
Absolutely.
I mean,
we're not talking about Sunny here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not. Oh, this is
Sunny.
Yeah, this is Trish Stratus. She looked better when she came back for that WrestleMania.
And the
Women's Royal Rumble. She looked amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So she would definitely, if there was a section for retired wrestlers, she would definitely fit in my calendar.
90 minutes. So, all right. Enough about the women's division. I'm gonna
Braun Strowman to me.
Oh, let's talk Braun.
He's becoming he's developing this.
He's my favorite big guy of all time already.
All time.
Already, dude.
All time.
Growing up, I was never a fan of the big guys.
Yeah.
The Big Shows, the Kanes, even the Undertakers.
No.
I was never really a fan of those guys. You know, even like Diesel, of course, I was a fan of.
Yeah, gotta be in there.
Because of who he was associated with. You know, but I was a fan of the little guys, you know, your Shawn Michaels, your Eddie Guerreros,
your Rey Mysterios,
your Rey Mysterios,
mm-hmm.
You know, and even still now, you know, I became a fan of Triple H when he wasn't considered a big guy before he got injured and went out and got really jacked.
And we both agree.
You know,
I agree with you completely about Triple H.
And even today, you know, I'm a Seth Rollins guy, a AJ Styles guy, the littler guys, even though Seth's a big guy for a little guy.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know.
Got a lot of heart.
But Braun Strowman has changed my opinions on the need for big guys in WWE, in wrestling. You know, because it was always, the big guy has to be the dominant, you know, specimen. But you need a Braun Strowman. You know, because not only can Braun be a great villain and destroy everything, Braun Strowman is going to save us from Brock Lesnar.
Thank God. Thank God.
Because he's holding our Holy Grail hostage. And
it's a travesty. It is. I mean, really is.
I'm tired of not seeing the Universal Championship, as ugly as it is, on the A show.
Yeah.
You know,
it should be on Raw every Monday. It should open every night, almost. Not every night.
And you should be able to cut a promo, and all Braun got to do is tell me get these hands, and I'm screaming to the top of my lungs like a little teenager.
Honestly,
you know,
I don't understand the contract signing. I don't understand the extension, really. Brock Lesnar to me was an asset that was dying, an asset that to me wasn't necessary anymore because of the talent fluctuation.
Hey Swish, you want to hit this blunt?
Yeah.
Come join us, my dear friend.
But I mean, I'm looking to Braun Strowman, and I'm seeing this character development, and I'm seeing this ability that he has, and then he go and he wins the Money in the Bank match, which sets him up perfectly to dethrone, like you said, Brock Lesnar.
It's almost guaranteed.
Thank God.
It's almost guaranteed, and if it's not guaranteed, I'm gonna be sad.
But no, I'm looking forward to the decrowning of Brock Lesnar, and that's why I brought up Braun Strowman, because I like everything I'm seeing, and to me, did you see that look Alexa Bliss gave him the other night when they were on ladders? You know?
Yeah, are they really a thing? It seems like they're really a thing.
Wouldn't be a bad idea for Alexa to get teamed up with someone the likes of Braun Strowman. That could definitely be a character development that I would like to see, because I saw that look that Alexa Bliss gave Braun Strowman on that ladder. And Alexa Bliss made a point to remind people that Braun Strowman was her tag team mixed partner. And he had a big smile on his face too, so I'm sure Alexa Bliss got some of them hands.
Maybe she got more than those hands, you know.
And to continue, to me, is AJ Styles
fastest rising star in WWE history?
Is he having the problem right now of not having marquee talent to face him? I mean, Shinsuke Nakamura was valuable, but then there was what's it? Jinder Mahal.
No. SmackDown has the guys to put in the title picture with AJ Styles, where you can keep the strap on
besides
him
Russo, who else?
Keep his title reign interesting for up until the Superstar Shakeup again, because we still have not seen for the WWE Championship AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan.
Very true. Very
we
true.
We still have not seen AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe.
Because Daniel. Pause.
So, all right, back to the guys that could contend for, you know.
Does anybody have it? Does anybody have it? I mean, I don't think The Miz, as much as I love him, I don't think The Miz could take AJ Styles.
I think The Miz can get creative. Therefore, I think The Miz can find a way to win that championship. And I'm all for Miz having another title run. You know, AJ Styles has been there less years than Miz. You know, Miz has been there his entire career, and he has one WWE title reign. AJ Styles already have 2, and he's getting pretty up there in, you know, length of title reign.
Really?
You know, he's been champion for a good amount. He's been champion so long, I don't remember who was the last champion.
But I'm saying, like, besides Daniel Bryan, and I'm going to throw Russo in here as well too.
And Rusev is going to be a great contender for
which
the championship.
I agree with.
And I'm all for Rusev dethroning AJ if that's the direction.
I feel like that's the only really real threat. I feel like that or the popularity overkill of Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, well, and I don't think I think some at some point I want to see heel AJ again with Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows being on SmackDown right now.
Yes, great point.
So
great point.
And I love them as heels. If they want to call themselves the club, by all means, I'm a member of that club.
You're not part of the Finn Balor club?
Oh,
you're just not too sweet?
It's all too sweet. I gotta be a member of that club.
I mean, I'm trying to get the VIP access, but
like we did on our old one. You know, the average Joe's talking to pros. We just too sweet at live. You know?
Absolutely.
You didn't see it, but we did.
First time ever, Dr. C and Dr. Dre too sweet at live. Yeah, thank you very much.
Just did that.
That shit just happened.
Yeah.
That shit just happened.
It's all too sweet.
Switch saw it too.
Yeah, she saw it, but she don't be about the too sweet. You know, she always talking shit about wrestling.
Right now, she's stuffing her face with some Pop-Tarts, so she's straight.
And we're smoking a blunt, you know. We're going to take these, last 9 minutes of the podcast just to,
reflect.
And talk some shit. Sorry I said the N-word on the podcast. I'm going to publish this podcast, so if you make it to the end after I said that word, I'm going to publicly apologize.
But I'm going to publicly gloat because previous shows, my dear compadre, tag team partner, Dr. Dre, is that, you were saying them quite a bit, and I get it. It's a term that can be used.
Where I come from, I'm from Baltimore. I'm a Ravens fan, obviously. I'm sitting here in the Orioles gear right now, having this discussion. It's the norm, and nobody bats an eyebrow, but I understand that there's people that are uncomfortable with that type of language. And I apologize. I'm working on cleaning it up, like Dr. C just said.
But you gotta give the guy credit. One time in a almost hour and a half podcast. I mean, you gotta give credit where credit's due. And I think you're not looking at yourself as a big player, man. You did a good job.
Yeah. This right here was a trial run. This is a practice experience. Can I have a piece?
How you wait till I'm damn near done with the shit.
Oh, all of this? You're gonna give me all of this? First off, breaking news. Can we get the sound drop?
Oh yes, absolutely. Breaking news. Hold on. Here we go. This shit
Swish
just happened.
MD here just shared with Dr. Dre, and you're gonna learn that we do not get along. So yes, thanks for Pop-Tart.
Pop-Tarts. Heck yeah.
Asshole.
Y'all stupid.
But yeah, so I apologize. Thanks for the commitment. Yes, I'm talking with my mouth full. It's my show. It's our show. So we do what we want. We say what we want. Oh, I just want to remind you guys.
We gotta wash these clothes.
What, today? Why?
Nico wants to.
Okay. Go wash them today then. I just want to drop the plug. Hey, go to Cannabis Fest. I don't know the exact date. Dr. C can let you guys know about that. We'll always drop a reminder up until it happens. But if you're not as informed on what this movement is about, please attend that Cannabis Fest. The only thing else I really have to say is I'm ready for some football, some NFL, but in the meantime, check out the Canadian Football League. Check out this flag football thing that the NFL is throwing on the NFL Network, on Saturdays and some Sundays. I think I'll plug that a little bit later too. Gary V. I don't know how to say your last name, but I want to thank you. You're a very inspiring man. And thank you. Yeah. So, I'm going to be posting this on Facebook. I'm going to be posting a clip on Instagram. I'm going to find a way to put it on Twitter. I'm going to find a way to get it on YouTube. There's going to be ways to listen to us. We're going to be doing this more often. It's not going to be weekly until we figure out our schedules and our personal lives. I'm not going to commit to that, but we're going to try to be as weekly as possible. Thanks everybody. If you made it this far, if you're listening to the whole show, thank you. You are a jewel. And when we start getting some, exposure and having the opportunity, we're going to reward you
handsomely. And we're talking wrestling tickets. We're talking anything we can get our hands on, swag, merchandise. We want you to have it, and we want to give it to you. We want to be that supplier for you.
If you have
we want to write that script.
If you have something to promote and you enjoyed our podcast and you are willing to let us promote your product, please reach out to us. We do not have an email address yet, but by the time I post this, we will have an email address, and you can click the link in the description and email us about us promoting your product, your whatever it is on our podcast.
All right. Swish, you got anything to end us with? Any knowledge you want to drop on us? Maybe something for the ladies out there. Maybe something for the men. You want to drop some knowledge on that guy.
I appreciate them letting me be on the show. I'm always gonna drop what I have to say. Definitely go fucking Giants. Screw your Ravens.
Man, bleeds blue, red, and white all day long, huh?
She's an unpatriotic patriot.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because
that's a clean way to put it.
She's a Giants fan. She's a Giants fan. But
God bless her.
She don't understand how trash they are. So she's a good Giants fan. Because even in the lows, she's still a Giants fan. You hear it. So she's a real fan.
You'll have to explain to me one day how you ended up being with a Patriots fan. We'll have to go through that one day. We'll have to go through that one day.
Yeah, that's an interesting dynamic. But we won't even talk about that.
That's a whole other show for a whole other time.
A whole other show for a whole other day.
We're gonna let our host of the show, close us out.
All right. Well, this was the first script I ever wrote.
Pity P dog.
This is the first script I ever wrote, so I'm happy to say that it was our first, and hopefully not our last. Not going to be our last. But, it's good to go through a partner with all this, and I have to say my tag team compadre over here, Dr. Dre, it's always been a pleasure.
Yeah, and our third party specialist, Swish MD.
I know Swish MD doing them rub downs, doing the legwork, when it comes to the show, and we appreciate that. For all of us here at the Script, I am Dr. Cubano, Dr. C. And
you have been prescribed.
Yeah, you have.